Hey, and welcome. It sounds like a small question, almost old fashioned, but for many people, it's a powerful, invisible force, shaping what they wear, what they say, what they post, what they dare to try, and what they quietly give up. And the strange part is this: we often don't even like our neighbors that much. It doesn't have to be literal neighbors, it can be coworkers, family, social media, classmates, your hometown, or the imaginary audience in your head. This video is about that audience, why we fear being judged, why it feels so personal, and how to live a little more freely without becoming reckless or arrogant, but by becoming more true. Chapter 1: Why What Will People Think feels so heavy. There's a reason this fear is so common. Humans are wired for belonging. For most of history, being excluded wasn't just painful, it was dangerous. Your brain still carries that ancient alarm system, so when you imagine judgment, your body reacts as if you're facing real threat. This is why you can feel embarrassment before anything even happens. Your nervous system is rehearsing social danger. The mind creates an imaginary courtroom. When you're stuck in "what will they think?", your mind becomes a lawyer and a judge at the same time. It gathers evidence. That outfit is too much. You'll look ridiculous if you fail. People will talk. They'll think you're full of yourself, and it rarely presents the counter evidence. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves. Even if they judge you, they'll forget quickly. Judgment says more about their worldview than your worth. In this courtroom, you are always on trial. And living on trial is exhausting. Why it grows stronger in modern life. Social media has turned the neighbors into an endless crowd. Before, you were judged by a small community. Now your brain imagines a global audience. Even if you have 5 followers, your nervous system may act like you have 5 million. And because we only see curated images of others, we start believing everyone else is confident, everyone else is doing life correctly, everyone else is ahead. So we hide, we hesitate, we keep our dreams small enough to avoid shame. But there's a cost. The fear of judgment becomes a life strategy, and life becomes less lived. Chapter 2: The Hidden Costs of Living for the Neighbors. Fear of judgment doesn't only prevent embarrassment, it prevents joy. 1. You start editing your life before it even happens. You don't ask, "What do I want?" You ask, "What is acceptable?" And slowly, your choices shrink. You don't try the hobby. You don't apply for the job. You don't set the boundary. You don't wear what you like. You don't say what you mean. You don't begin the project, not because you lack talent, but because you're trying to avoid the feeling of being seen. 2. You confuse safety with hiding. It feels safer to stay invisible, but invisibility has a shadow side. It can turn into loneliness. Because if people only meet the version of you that is safe, they never meet the real you. And then even praise doesn't land, because it isn't aimed at your truth. 3. You become more anxious, not less. Here's the paradox. The more you avoid judgment, the more sensitive you become to it. Avoidance teaches your brain, yes, that was dangerous. So the fear grows. This is why social anxiety often expands over time if it's never gently challenged. The mind learns visibility equals threat. 4. You trade your values for approval. This might be the biggest cost. You might value creativity, but you live cautiously. You might value honesty, but you stay quiet. You might value freedom, but you obey the imaginary audience. And that creates an internal pain that's hard to name. The pain of living out of alignment. It's not dramatic, it's subtle, but it can lead to resentment, numbness, or the sense that life is passing without you. Chapter 3: How to Live More Freely Without Becoming Hard or Careless. The goal isn't to stop caring what anyone thinks. That's not realistic or even healthy. We need community. The goal is something gentler, to care less about imagined judgment and more about your real values. Here are practical ways to do that. 1. Separate their thoughts from your life. A powerful truth: you are not responsible for other people's opinions. You are responsible for your actions, your integrity, your kindness, but the story in someone else's mind, that belongs to them. Try this sentence. They can think what they think. I can still live my life. That is emotional adulthood in one line. 2. Replace the crowd with one person you respect. When you imagine the neighbors, it's usually an anonymous crowd. Instead ask, what would one wise, kind person think? Or, what would future me thank me for? Crowds create fear. A single wise perspective creates clarity. 3. Practice small visibility. If being seen feels scary, don't jump into the deep end. Build tolerance gently. Small visibility could be wearing something slightly more you, speaking once in a meeting, posting something simple without over-editing, trying a beginner class where no one knows you, telling a friend what you actually want. The goal is to teach your nervous system, I can be seen and survive. It's not about performance, it's about freedom. Learn the difference between feedback and noise. Not all opinions are equal. Ask, is this feedback from someone who knows me? Do they have my best interest in mind? Is this useful information or just someone's discomfort? Some neighbors aren't judging your choices. They're reacting to the fact that your choices challenge their comfort. Sometimes people criticize what they secretly wish they dared to do. 5. Use the regret test. A simple question that cuts through fear. Will I regret not doing this? Most people regret the chances they didn't take more than the awkward moments they survived. Embarrassment is temporary. Regret can last for years. 6. Choose values over approval. Freedom isn't a personality trait. It's a practice. Pick one value. Creativity, honesty, growth, connection, courage, self-respect. Then ask, what is one small action that expresses this value today? Not a grand gesture, a small act of alignment. Because every aligned action builds self-trust, and self-trust is what makes you less dependent on approval. A small metaphor, the window and the light. Imagine living your whole life behind a curtain because you fear someone might see you. It feels safe at first, but over time you start to feel cold, dim, stuck. Opening the curtain can feel vulnerable, but it's also how you let light in. Being seen is not only a risk, it's also a resource. What will the neighbors think is often a way of asking, will I still belong if I'm myself? And the honest answer is, some people won't like it, but many people will respect it. Some will feel inspired by it. And the ones who truly matter, those who love you, will want you to be free. You don't need to live loudly. You don't need to rebel. You only have to stop shrinking your life to fit other people's comfort, because the neighbors will think something no matter what, so you might as well give them something interesting to think about. While you quietly build a life that actually feels like yours. Are there specific topics you're interested in, or a particular question you'd like answered in your life? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe now and join me on your journey toward more clarity and inner strength.